You just had to say it, didn't you? You just were pulling out and you just wanted to say it and you just had to. I know you've been missing saying that. Well, we are finally back home after an excellent trip to Baker Creek. And if you missed that video, make sure you check it out because we had probably one of the best times that we've ever had. But before we left, Elsie, one of the daughters in the Gibson family, was playing the harp for us, and she's just learning to play the harp. But I love hearing the harp. I just love the sound of the harp. It's just beautiful, and I just enjoy hearing her play before we left. After that, we were all packed up, and the Gibson family took us to an Amish store, and I had never been to an Amish store before. And it was a really neat experience as we pulled up to the property where the Amish store was, because the store was on the property, the private home property of an Amish family, and it was really neat seeing their house. And it was just
really peaceful.
That's right. It took the words out of my head. They were trying to come out, but they just couldn't. But as we walked into the store, and for those of you who don't know, the Amish don't use electricity. So in their store, they didn't have lights. Thankfully, it was somewhat sunny outside, so the sunlight was coming through and we were able to look around the store with no problem. But Ben and I had really been wanting some Amish hats, so we were trying on their Amish hats. Is that if one fits? I think I wear a medium. Look here, Micah. Look at that. Look here. Get your hands down. Yeah, look at that, man. Thomas looks cute too. Here we go. You see that? What is that? Horse and a buggy? Yeah? And this is the Amish hat that I got right here. I really like my Amish hat. What do you think about it? It's funny. It's kind of cool, isn't it? So we got our Amish hats as well as a few other items, and then we were leaving.
And their dog really liked us.
But it was super friendly, and it just wanted to just hang out with us, and looked like it wanted to come along with us. I know it was happy there, but it was a really nice dog. So as we pulled out of the driveway and we're going down the road, we were behind an Amish cart. And it was just so neat looking around. I felt like it was just a whole different feel in that area than what we're used to in our areas. Yeah. And it's like you were almost traveled back in time. And we were just talking about how, oh man, I almost wish we could go back to living in the horse and buggy days. I could do it. Think so? That would be pretty cool. So we started our travels back to North Carolina. And along the way, we saw some areas that were affected by the recent tornadoes. And it was really shocking to see there was a house that had part of the roof ripped off, and then we saw the silo that had been picked up from one side of the road and carried over to the other.
And it looked like it was crumbled in a ball.
It sure was. It was like somebody had just smashed a can. Man. And then we saw one house that was just completely flattened. Yeah. It was insane.
I saw that.
The house is smushed.
I saw that house.
Part of it's in the tree. Yep. Then came time for a bathroom break, and Ben and I just really had to use the restroom, and we just couldn't wait. And there was an old gas station, it was shut down, and then we pulled alongside the back and just had to use the restroom. But there was a shuttle bus there. To me, it looked like something from Jurassic Park. It looked like the windows were partially out and it was just dirty, and it just looked like, wow, what did this bus just go through? I was like hurrying up trying to use the bathroom because I didn't know if a dinosaur was gonna pop out of the back of this shuttle or what, but we got back on the road. None of us got eaten by a velociraptor. And then after hours of traveling, we finally got back home at 3 a.m.
And we were exhausted.
Yep, so some of us were sleeping in the van on the way here, and then we went back to sleep once we got here. We just straight to bed. All of us were wiped out. But early the next morning, I got up and did a walkthrough around the farm. I wasn't feeling that well. I was thinking I had allergies, but I wasn't sure. But I was just really anxious to come back and look around and see how things have progressed and just kind of get an update on where things were. Well, we are back to North Carolina from the Spring Planting Festival, and you can hear the quacks behind me. The ducks that we have here on the farm. And it was like a big party at Baker Creek. So if you haven't checked out that video that we did about our time there, make sure you check it out. Right now I'm just looking around the farm to see how everything's doing and has done while we were away. So just come and look around with me. I'm so excited. Everything looks really good here on the farm. It's almost like while we were gone, Miracle-Gro was just dumped out everywhere. We don't use Miracle-Gro or any of that junk, but things have just exploded with growth. And I believe there was a couple of storms and maybe some rain showers that have come through. So it provided the plants with what they need to just give them a boost. And things really look good. So we got a number of things that need to be harvested, and looks like a lot of work to do here on the farm. And one of the things we're going to be working on is the grass. Last year had issues with my riding lawn tractor, so I had been using a push mower for some time. And then recently the push mower is not working. So I decided to just go ahead and get a new lawn tractor because it's really important to keep the grass and the unwanted plants, all that down so they're not spreading seed all over the place. So we're gonna be working on that here pretty soon. But also while we were away, it looks like some of the ducks got out. So we're gonna have to get some of those ducks back into their fence because they're in some areas that we don't want them to be in, because they start eating some of our plants that we don't want them to eat. Get out of here. And these little jokers have been messing with some of the plants and seedlings that we've had here. They didn't do too much damage, but they did get to them a little bit. So actually, I think there's usually a reason they get out. So let's see why they got out. Okay, they have feed. So one of the reasons why they got out is water. They wanted some more water. And I had a couple chickens that have gotten out too. So let's just give them some more water and they should be fine. But while we were away, we did have a friend who lives nearby who came and checked on the chickens and the ducks and things around the farm while we were gone, and she did a fantastic job. So thank you, Cindy, for doing that. But let's just give them some more water. They must have just run out probably yesterday or over the evening. So let's give them some more water. Alrighty, the water was pretty much completely gone, but now we have filled it up well over to here. So that's plenty of water for a while now. I had it pretty full before we left, so it must have been pretty hot and warm, so they may have gotten thirsty. So something to keep in mind for when we go out away from the farm again. Oh man, this is so exciting. Before we left, these cucumber plants were just starting to grow pretty good, but now they're really growing and they have flowers and actually little cucumbers on them. I want to trellis these, so I'm pretty behind, so that I can see that there's a lot we need to get done. Regretfully, I really want to get on all these projects, but we need to unpack and get the van that we've been taking back. So I think I need to hurry up so I can get on these tasks. I don't know what it was, but as we were leaving Missouri, my allergies seemed to flare up, so I'm still recovering for that. I hope it's allergies. I'm still not 100% sure. I don't feel bad, except for the nose here. But I'm taking a really neat tincture that I got from Dr. Flower, and a number of her tinctures are just excellent. And if you want to check any of those out, check out the show notes below. But right now, I have to unpack this van and get to it. But as I'm getting ready to do it, I can't help but think, man, I'm gonna miss this van. I really like having a van. I guess that's just dead life. It's so much more efficient with having kids, getting in and out of and helping them with their needs as you're driving. So, gonna miss this van. Oh, it is what it is. We actually used to have a van, not this kind of van, but a similar one. But a few months ago, it had blew up and died. So hopefully we can get another one soon. But here we go. Get to work. So after Lacey and I took the van back, I got back home, and man, I was feeling worse. And come to find out, it wasn't allergies after all. I had a head cold, and I was feeling pretty junky.
Why is it called a cold when you're not actually cold?
Very good question. I'll have to get back to you on that one. So the next day came, and I still wasn't feeling that great at all. But before our trip, I pre-ordered a new lawn tractor. And I really was looking forward to using it because our grass has been crazy tall. Our old lawn tractor has pretty much bit the dust and wasn't working. Then I have a push mower that wasn't working. So the grass had just gotten really tall and really out of hand. So I was really looking forward to using a new lawn tractor. That day, the delivery guy came and delivered us our new garden tractor, John Deere style. Even though I wasn't feeling well, I still took time to test out this new garden tractor. So I didn't cut all the grass that day. But the next day, I woke up and I was feeling great. I was ready to get to work. We had a lot of things that needed to be done. My to-do list was super long and I was super eager to get started. One of the first things we did, I didn't cut the grass right away. I started with trellising our cucumbers because I really wanted to make sure that these cucumbers were able to grow and we were able to make sure that we could harvest them properly. And we've grown cucumbers on trellises before, and it is so much easier harvesting cucumbers and being able to see a lot easier the harvest that you're trying to get as you're picking cucumbers. So Sayla was right there at my side helping me start putting up the cattle panels that we're going to be using for our trellises. So the first thing I did was hammer in our posts for the trellis. And I used a sledgehammer mainly because I've had to use it over time and have just gotten real good at hammering in the posts with a sledgehammer. I know Justin Rhodes in the past has busted his finger open before, but I haven't had any of that, and I've just had a lot of experiences with hammering in the posts with the sledgehammer. After that, Sayla was right there at my side to help me carry over the cattle panels to the post. And as we were putting them up, Lacey and Lita came over to help us out, to attach the cattle panels onto the post and to help trellis the cucumbers up the cattle panel.
It was really nice having Lita help that day.
It was. Lita has been a big help on the days that she helps us out on the farm. And she was like a trooper using the stirrup hoe, working those shoulders and arms as well as pulling up those unwanted plants in the walkway. She did a great job.
While we were doing that, Micah was just playing in the mud.
He was hanging out right in front of one of the raised beds that I made with the block, just having a good old time. And just down a little bit of ways from where he was, where it was a part of the block wall that had actually fallen from so much of the rain that we have gotten. So I stacked up those blocks to make it safe for him to play and for others to be in. So I'm gonna have to come back to that project another day just to secure that. But there was just so much water and mud had been washed out. So we're gonna have to fix that and come back to that project. So, but at least it was out of the way, so that way it was safe.
We're gonna whip this farm into shape, and I'm talking whip. Yo, Joe!
You've been watching a little too much G.I. Joe lately.
When I was a boy, I loved G.I. Joe, and my favorite Joe was Sergeant Slaughter.
You just watched G.I. Joe here recently, right?
Yeah.
And it had Sergeant Slaughter in it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got to work, and one of the first things I did was bring out the weed eater. We're gonna put you in an itty bitty titty bag. Got it? You make me sick.
Recently, we've been having a really tough time with our gas-powered weed eater. So we recently bought a battery-powered weed eater from Greenworks. I've had one in the past, but it got wet and I had to get a new one. So I was eager to try this one out. So stressful having a gas one that just won't start on you. So we wanted to have one that was easy for Lacey to use if she needed it, and in case the gas-powered one didn't work, you didn't have to stress yourself out so much. You could just push a button and go with it. And this was the first day of using this weed eater on the farm. It was working great.
But then, since our farm was so out of shape, we ran the battery down. So I had to bust out the gas-powered weed eater. Thankfully, it started, and then I kept pushing it, whipping this farm into shape. And I'm talking whip.
All right, as I was weed eating right here, I see a big toad. So I'm gonna ask Josiah if he'll go ahead and put it in the bucket and move it. Josiah!
Yeah.
Accidentally hit him with the weed eater. But it's not bad. Whoa, oh, he jumped out. See there? He got hit a little bit. It was a total accident. So can you take care of him and move him somewhere else? Since you do a good job with him. Toad man. So then I went back to mowing, and then I took a break because Micah was really wanting to take a ride on this new garden tractor. Actually, all of you were, but this time Micah went with me to go check the mail at the mailbox. We rode down to the mailbox, got the mail, came back. Then I went back to do some more mowing, but this time I had to get some music going. I really wanted to hear my jams while I was getting the grass cut. Then Josiah was bringing me tea because he found out that there's actually a cup holder in the garden tractor, which I didn't know that at the time. So I had my tea with me, put it in my cup holder, put my jams back on, got back to doing some mowing. And this was the last area that I had to mow for today, and this was the area right along the pond, and the grass was really tall around there, and I really wanted to make sure we got it down because that just makes a nice little area for snakes, and especially the kind that we don't want to be living in. So after I got done with mowing all the areas that I was going to mow for today, Josiah was super eager to just wash off and clean up our new toy, tool, whatever you want it to be. They just see it as a big toy. It is a tool, and a toy too, I guess.
For you.
So after Josiah finished cleaning it off, next came your favorite part. And what was that?
Lessons on the lawn tractor!
Yep, it was time to continue your lessons on the lawn tractor. Early on in our vlogs, I started off teaching Selah lessons on the lawn tractor, starting off with teaching her just to steer the steering wheel as I was steering it to get a feel for it, and eventually be able to kind of steer it on her own. And then now that you're taller, you can actually reach the pedal and press the gas. And with this new one here, I really felt comfortable with you doing it. Okay, the first thing we need to do is we need to push the brake down and we need to start this thing up. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, push the brake down with your foot. Then you need to start it up right over here. Alright, next thing you need to do is you need to take the parking brake off. So hold your brake down, your foot brake, and then push the handbrake down. Alright, next thing we need to do is we're going to put this thing into forward. So, in order forward gear shift is right over here. Push it forward, out and then forward. Next thing we do is go. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Alright, little bit easier. 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 Alright, here we go. Brake on the left. There we go. Don't hit anything. That's close. Oh, there's eventually right here. Keep it steady. Didn't get my head knocked off, so that's good. Doing some good driving again. Bump to bump, watch out, we're gonna hit it. There you go. Woo. That way. Whoop. Whoa. Just branching. There we go. Alright. Gotta knock my head off again. Just a little bit fun. A little bit. Or lot? So how did it feel to actually press the gas and steer pretty much on your own?
It felt really good.
Were you a little scared too?
I don't think so.
No? Wasn't scared? What about those times where you had to make me duck from some of the branches? Oh. Or those times you about made me lose my hat? Mo, but you did a fantastic job, so way to go. So we'll keep working on it. Who knows? Maybe by the end of the year or next year, you can drive it all by yourself without me on there. That'd be cool.
Yeah, it would.
We'll see how you progress. Well, we got some more work to do out on the farm. Make sure you subscribe, like this video, comment below, share on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, text, email, whatever works for you. See you later.
Bye. Wait.
Roll on, brother. What are you doing,
Bye.
bro?